Hi kids, how are you? So let's continue the text about the mysterious boy. It's in page 45. So I will read the text and then we do the activity together, okay? So let's go. Remember that the kids took Flynn, that's the mysterious boy, to the father, and Crispus bought the slave. So let's see what happens. Crispus decided that Flem should help their old cook, Salvia, in the kitchen. So Flem would be a slave in the house, working in the kitchen. Flem found this a bit difficult for two reasons. First, he felt guilty about stealing the big cake. Second, Salvia loved the boy's red hair and his strange accent. When she couldn't understand him, she rubbed his hair and gave him a big hug. So, remember, Flan stole the cake. So, to work in the kitchen for him was very difficult because he felt guilty. Yeah? And Salvia, that's the cook, she really liked him. Frank didn't complain. He loved the old cook, and he loved the delicious food she prepared. And then Salvia always give hugs, and then he felt a little bit shy, so it was difficult for him. Flan didn't have to work in the afternoon, so he only worked in the morning. And what he did in the morning, in the afternoon. So he would spend some time in the garden with Livia and Marius. They all loved looking for lizards and climbing trees. They also liked sitting in the shade and talking. Flan told them about his past. At first, his Latin was not very good, but Livia helped him. So, in the afternoon, Flan went around with the kids, yes, looking for lizards and going up the trees, climbing the trees. And Flan told them that he was born on a distant island in the middle of the sea. It was a wild, rocky place where the weather was always changing. In one day, you could see mist, rain, sunshine, drizzle, sunshine again, and rain again. It was a wild place where the sea raged and the winds blew. But it was green all year round and the air smelled like honey. But one day, pirates attacked his village and Flan was taken prisoner. They traveled south, and finally Petronius bought him in a slave market. That was the worst day of my life, Flan said. Petronius is an evil man. What did he do? Asked Marius. Flan shook his head and looked away. Hey, Flan, said Livia, do you want to go to the beach tomorrow? We can go swimming. So Flan told how the weather was in the place he lived, yes, that there were many rocks, and the weather always changed. So it rained a lot, and then there was sun, and then rain again, and always green during the whole year. So probably there wasn't snow, yes. And then the pirates attacked the village and took him prisoner, and then Petronius bought him. But he didn't want to say what Petronius did to him. And then Livia invited Flam to the beach for the next day, tomorrow. Then Flam turned back. There were tears in his eyes, but a huge smile on his face. One long, hot afternoon, after playing for a few hours in the garden, Livia, Marius, and Flan fell asleep in the shade of an olive tree. Livia had a strange dream. She heard voices in her head, men's voices. Then she heard running people. There was a fight. she heard a boy call out. Then Livia woke up. Her heart was beating fast. Marius was lying next to her, sound asleep. Marius, Livia said loudly. Her brother opened his eyes. He was a bit annoyed. He was still sleepy. Flan is gone, Livia said. He probably has gone back to the villa, said Marius. But when they arrived home, Flan wasn't in the kitchen. They went to his room, but he wasn't there either. Flan was missing. So, they played a lot, they slept under a tree, and then Livia had a dream about furious men and a boy shouting out. And when they wake up, Flynn wasn't there. So Flynn is missing, and they don't know where he is, because he's not in the house and he's not around them. And we finish the story here. Oh my god. So let's go. How did Flynn feel about working in the kitchen? Did he feel happy, sad? How he felt about it? He liked it, yes, but it was a little bit difficult, yes, to work in the kitchen. But he loved the food. He loved the old cook, yes, and the delicious food she prepared. Number 2. What did Livia, Marius, and Flynn do in the afternoon? They spent some time in the garden. How is Flynn's homeland different from Livia's and Marius? So, because Flynn lived in another place, not in Rome, yes? So how it was different? So the place where Mario lived was an island in the middle of the sea. It was a wild, rocky place where the weather was always changing. And in Rome is sunny, yes? And it's not an island. What was the worst day of Flynn's life and why? It was the day when pirates attacked his village and he was taken prisoner. Why? Because he was taken away from his house, yes? And then I have a question for you. Where do you think Flynn is gone? Flynn has gone. I think that this dream that Livia had, actually she was listening to what was happening, yes? And then people took away Flynn, like Petronius people, you know? I don't think Flynn has ran away because he liked living there, yes? I don't know. So we'll stop here. And then I'll ask you to do the homework from page 64 and 66. I will try to show you because it's not working very much. So in page 64, let me see. Yeah, I think from here is better. Yeah. In the page 64, you have the pictures and you have here a box with the words that are can be noun, adjective, or verb, and then you can make sentences, yes? So in number 1, it's icy, and then you make sentences about that. Yeah, so it's raining, it's freezing. Okay, so how the weather is. When we talk about weather, we always use it's. Okay, and then in the number 4, we have a picture here and a woman talking about the weather, and you have the verbs, and you have to circle what's the correct verb, if it's mustn't or don't have. Because remember, mustn't is an obligation and don't have is an option. Yes? So read and circle the correct answer. This is the page 64. And the page 66 is about the story. So see, the first one, you have the pictures of the characters. So Livia, Petronius, Crispus, and Flan. And you have to complete with the name and match. Yes. And in the number 2, you have to find and circle some words here, 8 words from the text, and complete the sentences. Okay? That's it for today. Bye bye.